It is the hearing that everyone will be watching. O.J. Simpson is up for parole this week, so will one of America's most infamous prisoners be set free? It's a crime saga that began more than 23 years ago. 1994, Los Angeles police in hot pursuit of a fugitive from justice. NFL legend Orenthal James Simpson, wanted for the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend Ron Goldman. It led to the trial of the century.
O.J. Simpson, in a knit cap from 2 blocks away, is still O.J. Simpson. It's no disguise. It's no disguise. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
And in 1995, an acquittal, despite powerful DNA evidence that links Simpson directly to the crimes.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A.
But 2 years later, in a civil trial, he was found liable for the deaths and ordered to pay more than $33 million to the families of the victims. Fast forward to 2007, O.J. arrested again, this time on armed robbery, kidnapping, and other charges involving 2 sports memorabilia agents at a Las Vegas hotel. He was convicted in that trial.
Count 1, conspiracy to commit a crime, guilty. Count 2, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, guilty. Count 3, conspiracy to commit robbery, guilty.
Simpson is now 70 years of age and up for parole after serving more than 8 years of a 33-year sentence. If granted release on Thursday, he would walk out of prison on October 1st. The hearing will be televised, much like the trial. All right, Greg, get your thoughts on this.
The reason why you had to do a 2-minute recap is because most of the people don't remember this because they're so young. I was like listening to this and I'm going like, I know every part of this. And it's like, of course it's going to be televised because we can't get enough of scandal. We cannot, we've forgotten how to shame. So we all must go and just suck all this in because we can't get enough of it. I don't understand parole. It should work in reverse. You start at the sentence, and good behavior prevents you from lengthening the sentence, not from shortening. I don't understand why somehow you can, a 33-year sentence goes to 8 years. I don't know. The one thing I learned from this sentence is that facts don't matter when you're a celebrity and you got a lot of money and you have a lot of lawyers. Nobody else could have gotten off that way. We excuse the brutality of famous people. If you look at what's going on with R. Kelly right now, there are no music sites that are talking about that, and they knew about that forever. And with O.J., there was a lot of star power there, and that star power overpowered a lot of people.
What did R. Kelly do?
Well, it's the whole... it's another day. You know I
thought it was something new.
No, the underage...
I thought it was something new.
Go ahead, it's the same thing.
No, it's the old thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Not good.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Edit. Okay, Dana.
It was a metaphor.
Well, watching the video, it was reminded me, so on the night that he was acquitted, I was working as a waitress in Denver, Colorado, and I had the bar area, and no one left. And I think we stayed there. Everybody stayed like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I probably made the most tips I ever had in my life because, as Greg was saying, people were absolutely glued to the television. They couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And there was no social networks, no internet, yet the thing was something we obsess over constantly.
Well, and as much as I think that he killed his wife and Ron Goldman, this particular crime is for the botched robbery in Nevada. And I guess I would say that the reason that you do parole based on good behavior is so that you actually do behave in prison so that you can try to get out earlier. Kimberly, I don't know if that's exactly correct, but I think that...
and you're going to support that when you get locked up.
I know.
I don't think you should get preferential treatment for parole, but I do think that in our justice system, we have to look at this particular crime, and if the prosecutor and the judge think that